All right, guys, episode 11. All right, we are moving right along. 11 days in a row of posting videos like this. That is insane. So thank you guys so much for just keeping this series alive. All of you guys that are watching these videos, whether you've been watching all of them, whether this is your first time, I just wanted to say thank you so much. So today's episode, we are going to be talking about the mental reset. So basically, how to bounce back after a bad game. So you've had rough games, I've had rough games, you're tilted, I'm tilted. Look, we're all like that every once in a while. Maybe your team threw, maybe you just had a bad game, I don't know. But how do you proceed next? What do you do next? What do you do now? Well, let's talk about that today. So I want to talk about a few things on how to kind of bounce back from that and how to just overall reset it so that the next game you aren't just falling into the same traps and the same caveats again. So today we're going to be talking about that. So step one for all of this is recognizing tilt before it basically controls you, because I've been there. I've been to the point where, hey, this tilt, it's taken a firm grasp on my soul and it is just fully in control. Yeah, I just rhymed, I know. But anyways, so you want to see the signs of tilt first and recognizing them. So if you can kind of become a little bit more self-aware and realizing the signs of that and seeing, hey, maybe I'm starting to get like this, even though I'm a little frustrated. Let's check out those signs first. So a few of those signs, stuff like getting overly aggressive or even passive, like one of the two, whether you're just like really getting on people's cases, or if you're just like, yeah, whatever, like yeah, whatever, like just letting things slide that, you know, you probably shouldn't let slide. If you can do that, it's probably a sign that things are not really going too well right now, and you're probably not making the best decisions. So that's one of the big signs of it. Also, queuing like instantly, like right afterwards, like right after like the game ends, it doesn't give you it doesn't give you any time to breathe, doesn't give you any time to get that little mental reset going. So try, when you have a tough loss, try not to just be like, well, next match, just I have to watch this one clear, next match. But I wouldn't really do that if I were you. I'll talk about that in a little bit. But also, a big thing is blaming everybody else. I've gotten to the point where I'm blaming everybody else, but there are some times where I'm just not playing well and I'm like, well, it doesn't matter because my team wasn't playing well either. Well, not really. Like, if I played well, then I can't really be upset at myself because then I did the best I could, and I can't really change like what other players do. So if I did the best I could, then, you know, that's what matters. But if you start blaming everybody else, then that's probably not a good sign. You're not really learning too much. So I would try to avoid that. So acknowledging tilt in general and acknowledging being upset, it doesn't make you weak. It actually does the opposite. It makes you self-aware, which is not something that everybody else is. You would be surprised at how little people in this world are self-aware. So being able to recognize that, it's honestly a huge win. It's a huge W right there. So that alone is enough to kind of, you know, take pride in it. It's something to be proud of. So step two is you want to break the emotional loop. So there are a few ways that you can simply reset. You know, there are a few things, but not all of them are going to work for everybody. So I just want to put that out there. And not all of them are going to work every single time for you. But I think that these are all great ways to go. So one good thing that you could do is step away from your PC, console, whether it's Xbox, PlayStation, whether you're playing on your GameCube, Nintendo Switch, whether you're playing on your Dreamcast, Nintendo 64, whatever you're playing on. But if you're playing on your little PSP, I don't know what you're playing on. But anyway, just step away for a little bit, 5 to 10 minutes, you know, take a little breather, you know, take a walk down the hallway, go outside for a few seconds. I don't know, look at the sun directly into the sun. Nothing bad ever happens with that. So, you know, you could do stuff like that, and that will really help it to be like, okay, taking a few seconds away from this game, I can breathe, I think it's better now, you know, stuff like that. And I know the next one, guys, I know the next one is very cliche, but I do recommend it because this is something that I actually do very often, and I even do it in the middle of stream. I do it off camera, obviously, but a big thing that you can do is just do some like deep breathing exercises and stretching. Stuff like that will kind of, you know, loosen you up, get you nice and limber, and you'll just kind of be more relaxed. And then my personal favorite thing that I like to do is just swap your music selection. You can swap your music to be something a little bit more like upbeat and like something that makes you happy. Yeah, like why not? Like do that instead. Like, bro, that's gonna make you feel awesome. Like I do that all the time. Guys, a not so guilty pleasure of mine, because I don't believe in guilty pleasures when it comes to music. Like you like what you like. Bro, what I've been doing lately is I've been putting on like either like Sabrina Carpenter or like ABBA lately, like with my music. And bro, they are such amazing just vibe amplifiers. Like they are there to just make you go like, all right, let's get it going. And it just, I don't know, it makes me feel good, man. I like it. So that's awesome. It's just something to think about and just something to like, you know, try for yourself. If you want to just try new things, just like listen to some upbeat music and like that'll help. And that's gonna lead us to step 3. Just do a quick review, but don't be like harsh judgment. Like don't just like do like harsh judgment on yourself, you know, but like do some review of like your gameplay. Don't ask things like, why do I suck? Because the question is, the answer is you don't suck, unless you are specifically that Black Widow player that was in my lobby today. That person sucks. That person sucks. Like, I'm sorry, but 1 in 7 is unacceptable. Yeah, I'm still salty about that. That was 7 hours ago and I'm still not happy about it. But anyways, we're not talking about that right now. All right, we'll talk about that later. All right, unless you're that specific person, you don't suck. Like, you're logging onto the game, you're trying to get better. You don't suck. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a game. So like, yeah, you're gonna improve. That's awesome. So instead, you want to ask things like, what's one thing I could have done better? Not different, better. And if you do that, well, then you have room in your brain to grow, and that's awesome. Also, do things like, did I learn anything from that match? You see things like, oh wow, I saw this enemy take this route and kind of play this angle. I've never seen that before, but I think that's a good idea for the future. Just small things like that. Whether you see it's like people's positioning, your positioning, you notice something different about like, you know, something about the map, something way you can play the map, things like that. If you can do that and become self-aware and understand that, dude, you're gonna grow every time you play this game. That's awesome. And then also, a really good thing to ask yourself is, was my frustration valid, or is it just kind of like my ego overreacting, right? So there's a lot of times where, yeah, I feel like your frustration is valid. Guys, I had a Black Widow today go 1 in 7 and refuse to swap. I feel like my frustration was valid, and yes, I'm still upset about it, but at the end of the day, I didn't let it affect my mood. I kind of just avoided them and I moved on with my day, and that's all I did. And I wasn't really mad about it the next match because I kind of took a breather. I was all right. It's okay. You know, we move on from these, and then we ended up winning the next few matches too. So it's awesome. As long as you can like untilt yourself, that's the way to go. So always try to think of it like that. Also, what you want to do is you want to treat it kind of like a post-game coach session, not kind of like, just don't look at it as a punishment. I think we all deserve that. Hey, look, you lost a game. That's okay. We all lose games. Do some footage review. I don't really watch too many sports nowadays, but that being said, I used to, and I know a very common thing to do is a footage review, because that's the best way to get better, right? And what I think is one of the biggest things to learn, and one of the biggest things that I still need to get better at, I've gotten better at it lately, but I'm not 100% better at it, is just know when to walk away. Look, you get 3 bad games in a row, guys, time to swap games. If not swap games, swap game modes at the very least. All right, go to quick play, go to Doom match, go to practice versus AI, go to that practice range, go to that store, give them your money. I don't know, just switch it up, because 3 bad games in a row, you are starting to spiral. You're going to be out of control, and I don't really see many good things coming from that. So just try to keep that in mind. Also, you can't really grind improvement on a tilted brain, because that is just going to keep you cloudy. Your judgment's going to be skewed, and I don't see it working well for anybody. Whether it's you, your teammates, anybody, it's just not going to be good. But that being said, one good match after a break, guys, that's better than like 5 queues in a row where you're just raging the entire time. So just take a little bit of that break. Go drink some water, hydrate. Everybody needs to hydrate. Everybody needs to hydrate all the time. Make sure you go drink some water. It is very important to do all that. Just make sure that you just kind of take some breaks in between. You don't really want to just be going back to back to back. It's all about resetting your mental and letting you have time to breathe, because at the end of the day, I know this is a cliche way to put it, and I know this is a kind of a scapegoat, but at the end of the day, this is a game. So getting upset over a game, yeah, it happens to everybody. It happens to me. But at the end of the day, this is a video game, and I could be having worse problems in life. That's the best way I like to look at it. So guys, I just want to say thank you so much for watching this video. You're really not a bad player because of 1 bad game or 2 bad games or 3 bad games. You're a better player because you keep coming back with intent to get better. And I think that's always awesome, and it's always a good way to think about it. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, do me a bunch of awesome favors. Liking the video is really cool. Commenting on the video is always awesome. You know what, guys? I want you to comment when you see what hero in the game do you see when your ally picks this, you go, uh-oh. For me, it's Black Widow. I feel like a lot of people are going to answer that. I go, uh-oh. But also, I feel like Spider-Man or Iron Fist are pretty solid answers as well, personally. But that's just my opinion. I mean, even Jeff's a kind of a common answer for me too. Sorry to alienate all you guys. Also, subscribing to the channel is awesome too. So if you could do that, that'd be really cool. We're kind of closing in on that 11,000 subscriber mark. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, I'd really appreciate it if you could do that. So guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys on the next video. Later.